Hello, I'm David Rose, and thanks for stopping by for this look at some of our Washington's most wanted cases featured this weekend with Crime Stoppers. Get ready, because this first case is really going to make you mad when you see how a robbery suspect treated a 70-year-old man in Seattle's International District. So watch here as the victim starts walking after parking his car in a garage. That suspect approaches him. The victim tries to wave him off, but then he strikes, pushing him to the ground, starts going through his pockets. Well, the victim was armed with a 9mm handgun for protection, but you see here, the suspect took that gun away from him. Then he spends several minutes going through the victim's pockets, throwing his stuff on the ground until he found $170 in cash. He finally lets the victim get up, but he wasn't done yet. He stole that man's car keys. And as the victim is bending over to pick up all his scattered belongings, the suspect gets in his car, and you'll see it start backing up. Well, the victim is going to have to get out of the way here because he's about to steal this vehicle. The victim could only stand there and watch as the suspect drives right past him. The car was later abandoned at 10th Avenue South and South Jackson Street.
When the car was recovered, we did not recover the weapon. So that tells me he still has the victim's gun, which tells me he's now armed, even more dangerous, and who is he going to go after next? We don't want there to be another victim.
You don't get a good look at the suspect's face, but there is one clue. Look closely at his feet. You see he's wearing white socks and tan slippers. The victim, who is Asian, described the suspect as possibly Vietnamese, mid-30s, 5'7" to 5'9" tall, with a medium build. Now, he followed the victim's car into the parking garage at 6th Avenue South and South Main Street in the International District. It happened at 2:30 a.m. on Tuesday, August 11th. So maybe it's just a guy that lives nearby. Fortunately, the victim was not physically hurt, but this kind of emotional trauma can result in long-term physical effects on seniors. So Seattle police are really hoping you can identify this suspect. If you know a guy who wears slippers like that out on the street, and he seems familiar, and he has no respect for his elders, let's get him caught. Submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone, or call 1-800-222-TIPS, and you'll get a cash reward of up to $1,000 when they slap the cuffs on him. Well, this next suspect is also wanted for victimizing a man in his 70s, but BURIEN police say he refuses to surrender, and he even told the sergeant over the phone, "You're going to have to kill me." 42-year-old Warren Eugene Bell Jr. is accused of beating his stepmother's 71-year-old boyfriend so badly on August 21st that the victim is now intubated and in intensive care at the hospital. Detectives say the argument started because Bell refused to give his stepmom's flip phone back to her and slammed it on the ground, breaking it. Her boyfriend confronted Bell about it, and that's when the attack started.
Warren knocked the victim to the ground, punched him an estimated about 10 times in the face, knocked him unconscious, and broke his dentures. The victim was rushed to Harborview Hospital, where he remains. He's in critical condition. It's unknown at this time if he is going to survive.
Warren Bell Jr. is wanted for assault in the first degree. That's a charge that will be upgraded if the victim dies. He was recently released from prison after serving a 10-year exceptional sentence for domestic violence assault, felony harassment, and cyber stalking, all committed in front of his kids. His juvenile convictions include indecent liberties with force in 1994 and rape of a child first degree in 1991 when he was 13. Detectives say Bell hangs out in Des Moines and he has family in Tukwila. And they don't know what kind of car he's driving, and they're asking for your help to find him or for any information. He's 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighs 220 pounds. If you spot Warren Bell, call 911 immediately and then submit a tip to Crime Stopper so you can get the cash reward of up to $1,000. If you know where he's staying, send that information through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone or call 1-800-222-TIPS. It is anonymous. Tonight, the daughter of a woman wanted by Tacoma police is pleading for your help to find her mom. Shelley Eberwin has a warrant for her arrest in Pierce County after she failed to show up to court for her charge of first-degree rendering criminal assistance in a homicide. Her daughter says the family put up the collateral on her $50,000 bail, and now she could cost them their home because she has gone into hiding somewhere in Seattle.
If they don't catch her within 3 months, my grandma loses her home. We lose everything. My grandma's worked too hard to lose everything she's ever owned. It will make us homeless. It will make us have nothing. Me and my grandma both have health problems, and I have a 6-year-old daughter. It's really disruptive. I am now on high blood pressure medication. I have anxiety. I can't sleep because we're wondering if we're going to lose our home.
Well, this all stems from 2018 when DeMarco Parker was charged with stabbing D'Angelo Reese to death on a street in Tacoma's Hilltop neighborhood. Investigators say the two men got into an argument. Reese pulled out a knife, but Parker knocked it from his hand, and then he grabbed that knife, chased after Reese, who was trying to get away, and stabbed him to death. Shelley is accused of driving the getaway car and coming back later to the house where she and Parker had been staying to get Parker's cell phone and some clothes.
Parker was later arrested for murder second, and she was arrested for rendering criminal assistance in the first degree. She was later released and given a court date to respond back on these charges. She did not show up for her court date. Prosecutors have now released a warrant for the arrest of Shelley Eberwin. This woman needs to be held accountable.
The pictures everybody has seen so far is what she currently does not look like. She lost her eyebrows. She's probably 100 pounds soaking wet. She has scabs on her face, and she is living in the jungle in Seattle. I'm hoping that somebody will catch her. That way me and my grandma can sleep peacefully at night. She gets the help she needs, and she can just get her life back in order.
Shelley Eberwin is 46 years old. She's 5'9". Officially, she weighs 155 pounds, but you heard Danielle there describe how her mom looks. Much thinner, no eyebrows, just emaciated. Her family says she's heavily addicted to heroin. If you spot her, please call 911 immediately. And if you know exactly where to find her, use the P3 Tips app on your cell phone, submit that information to Crime Stoppers, or call the hotline. It's anonymous. They'll pay you a cash reward of up to $1,000 if it leads to her arrest. Now, a criminal couple using the COVID crisis to adapt their thieving ways. This pair thinks they're so smart with the way they burglarized a storage facility in June. Now it's time to help King County Sheriff's detectives prove them wrong.
These two took advantage of the new no contact way to sign up for a storage unit because of COVID restrictions. And they used a fraudulent credit card to rent a storage unit at a location in Woodinville. They used their code to get in past the gate because now they're signed up to an official unit. And instead of actually going to store items, they broke into multiple storage units belonging to other people, stealing items from their units.
One of those burglarized units belonged to John Wardwell. That's him drumming with his band years ago. They've taken a break for a while, but John's hope of a reunion got crushed after the burglars stole his entire drum kit. You can see all the instruments in the black cases on the cart as the crooks ride the elevator to the lobby with all their stolen loot and part of John's livelihood.
I've got a snare drum that they don't make anymore. My head's just spinning around from the whole thing. It's so maddening. I'd love to get them caught and run them through the ringer some more. You know, I can't believe people do this.
The guy wore a gray Chicago White Sox hat with the manufacturing sticker still on the bill. He's got tattoos on his neck and his chest. The woman carried a large burgundy-colored purse. Detectives say they also stole a ton of tools, motorcycle helmets, and gear, as well as multiple other items.
They don't do a very good job of covering up their faces. There are some great cameras at the storage unit that was able to capture their photos and their video of them walking around. So we're hoping that somebody that sees this recognizes them and provides us that information.
So if you know either of these suspects' names, you'll get a cash reward of up to $1,000 if you can help detectives identify them. So send the information, any photos you have of them, through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone. You can download it for free. You can also call 1-800-222-TIPS or go to p3tips.com. However you get the information to them, let's get these two off the streets and get the drum set back to John. Tonight, detectives from Seattle to Tukwila to Tacoma say Christopher Allen King's behavior seems to be escalating from a necklace snatch to 2 smash-and-grab jewelry thefts and then an armed robbery earlier this month. Tonight, they're asking for your help to find him.
What's up, y'all? You know, I'm the wreck, y'all.
Chris King raps about women, drugs, homicides, and hitting a lick on his Facebook page. And he sure loves the camera.
Throw it up, drop it down, watch it work around. everybody on the team, yeah, we sleeping sound.
But being on camera is what helped police identify him as a suspect in 2 smash and grab thefts, including this one at Bellevue Rare Coins in West Seattle, where police say he was caught on video casing the store on July 8th and avoided touching the glass with his fingers.
It's obvious that he's aware that latent prints or DNA will link him to the case, and he does everything that is possible at that point to avoid leaving prints. So he's clearly thinking ahead, you know, how do I prevent from being caught in this case?
He must have forgotten about his clothes, though, because detectives say he was wearing the same jeans and tennis shoes when he returned later that same day to smash the glass and grab thousands of dollars worth of rings. He's 6 feet 5 inches tall, so it's hard to miss him. That was on July 8th. 6 days later, police say surveillance video from Wyatt's Jewelers at Westwood Village in West Seattle shows 2 men inside Lauren Wiggins' store.
They were pretending like they were looking for a gift. So one of them was saying he was looking for a gift for his girlfriend. He distracted our sales staff, got her over here on this side of the store.
Wiggins says that's when the second guy, who detectives say they've identified as King, took out a tool and smashed the glass on a jewelry case.
They went for men's rings, men's bands, wedding rings, things like that. Very nondescript items that they could probably pawn or sell.
She says they stole $19,000 worth of jewelry, plus the men's wedding band tool display kit that cost $2,300 to replace. Not to mention the cost of fixing the glass that was shattered and spread all across her store.
It really puts you on edge. Everybody that comes through the door now, you're hypersensitive, so it was extremely alarming.
King County prosecutors have charged King with theft in the first degree, the same charge he already had a pending case for from March 2nd, when Tukwila police say he grabbed a $7,000 gold necklace out of the hands of an employee at Ben Bridge Jewelers in South Center Mall and took off running. And now, detectives in Tacoma say they believe he's also the suspect you see here, who used a handgun in an armed robbery on August 11th at the Bellevue Rare Coin store there.
It's unsettling to all of us, including the community.
King hasn't posted any new videos since he found out last week that he was wanted, which is kind of a shame because I was just starting to like his style.
Oh, that's me? That's nuts, bro. That's me, Cuddy.
According to court documents, King was in prison until January 9th of this year. He has prior convictions for domestic violence assault, burglary, theft, possession of stolen property, auto theft crimes, vehicle prowl, resisting arrest, attempting to elude, obstruction, and drugs. Prosecutors have requested a $25,000 bail once he's caught because he's had 15 warrants issued for his arrest since 2016 for not showing up to court. Chris King is 22 years old, 6 feet 5 inches tall, weighs 210 pounds, and he's got hazel eyes. He was last known to live in Kent, but he's lived in Renton as well, or he might be in Tukwila. You can tell Seattle police where to find him. Crime Stoppers at Puget Sound is going to pay you a cash reward of up to $1,000, and you will remain anonymous. Send the information right now through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone or at p3tips.com. You can also call the hotline. One down, one to go in the search for these 2 convicted criminals. Lovebirds on the lam no longer. Bail enforcement agents with Washington Fugitive Investigations and Pacific Northwest Bail Bonds arrested Nick Nelson on Tuesday near the Ramada Inn in Kent. Nelson and Marquita Dillon are accused of prowling a victim's unlocked car in Tukwila, stealing his garage door opener, his registration, and a set of keys for a second vehicle at his home in Kirkland. Police say Nick and Marquita then went to that address listed on the victim's registration and stole his 2005 Toyota Sequoia. Detectives say they drove it around for several days before the vehicle was recovered at the Terrace Apartments in Tukwila, where surveillance video showed both of them driving that vehicle, living in it basically multiple times. They were wearing the same clothes they had on in the video of them during the original car prowl. Now, prosecutors have charged both of them with car theft, possession of a stolen vehicle, and vehicle prowl in the second degree. Marquita Dillon is still wanted. She's had 27 warrants issued for her arrest since 2008. She has 6 active warrants right now. Her criminal history includes convictions for multiple thefts, organized retail, theft, and forgery. She's 32 years old, 5'3", and weighs 125 pounds. If you spot Marquita, call 911. Or if you have information on where officers can find her, you can remain anonymous by submitting a tip to Crime Stoppers and get that cash reward of up to $1,000. Well, that's a look at some of the cases featured this weekend on Washington's Most Wanted. To see the full show, join us at midnight after Seahawks Training Camp Live on Q13 Fox. Then tomorrow night it runs earlier at 10 p.m. on Joe TV, and it broadcasts at 10:30 p.m. on Fox TV stations in Spokane, Yakima, and the Tri-Cities. Let's make sure these criminals have nowhere left to hide.